evil. It lurks around every corner in Valistia, whether it comes from the south via the Dalmatian Republic, or the northeast via the machinations of Ultima manipulating the Holy Empire of Sanbreque, or even across the waters, in the continent of Ash, where the threat of Barnabas Tharmer seeks to test the armies of Storm after single-handedly conquering all of the eastern continent from the Orcs and the Beastmen Rebellion, almost single-handedly with the power of Odin's blade. It appears our heroes never get a break from threats lurking around at every corner. We get glimpses of all the threats around Rosaria as Clive, Joshua, Jill, and Sid seek to destroy the Mother Crystals in order to defeat the real threat of the Blight, which seeks to destroy all of life in the Twins. And many of them have their own reasons for the actions they commit. We have covered one of these threats in a past lore video as we covered Benedicta Harmon, someone who is in the pockets of the Kingdom of Waloed, and thus wage war against all of its enemies with her at the helm. There are plenty of others that we have not even covered between Hugo Kupka, Barnabas Tharmer, and even the mastermind behind pretty much all of the events in Final Fantasy XVI, Ultima. I believe there is another, more cruel character that does not get as much screen time, but that doesn't mean he wasn't as atrocious as the main antagonists. In fact, I could even dare say that he's far more evil than some of these antagonists that have posed physical threats to Clive. As you can tell by the title, I have deliberately listed it as the most evil human because, let's be honest, Ultima is a divine being. So calling him the most evil in Valistia is kind of a default and wouldn't make for a good debate. And I always like it when you guys and girls leave comments stating your points of views, whether you agree with me or not. I love seeing those comments, so please keep it up, I really appreciate it. Now, without further ado, let's delve into today's video as I talk about perhaps the most evil human in all of Final Fantasy XVI. For today's lore video, we need to head west of Rosaria to a small kingdom situated on an island known as the Iron Kingdom, which is adjacent to Drake's Breath and shares it with Rosaria. Since Rosaria is the larger kingdom, it has historically maintained control and benefited from the Aether and the Mother Crystal. But by the events of Final Fantasy XVI, Rosaria has grown significantly weaker due to multiple events. But most of all, the death of Elwyn Rossfield due to the betrayal of the future Annabella Lesage, who allied herself with the Empire of Sanbreque. With the drastic weakening of Rosaria, the Iron Kingdom took advantage and pretty much established their kingdom within the crystal itself. What is dangerous about this kingdom is how it's governed. We have noticed that the different nations found throughout the Twins are governed differently, but the majority of them are governed by a single entity. This is where the Iron Kingdom has a distinct difference. While most of the other nations have royal families where the title of ruler tends to get passed down through the generations, the Iron Kingdom has a different type of singular ruler. While the Iron Kingdom does have a royal family, they pretty much have no power in these lands. No, instead, the main governing body of the Iron Kingdom is a faith known as the Crystalline Orthodox. I can cover this religion in a different video, but pretty much the faith reveres the Mother Crystals and sees dominance as abominations. They also practice the ritual of sacrificing bearers in order to gain favor from the crystal itself, as he believes that the corruption of Aether is a reason bearers are the way they are and must be sacrificed. I covered the prejudice of bearers in a previous video, but I realized that I forgot to mention how they were treated in the Iron Kingdom. Because they are an island nation away from the affairs of the continent, they are very isolated to the point that they have adopted their own language. If there is a nation that treated them worse than any other nation in Valistia, it would indeed be the Iron Kingdom. While the other nations would subject them to the lowest in the social hierarchy, even going as low as treating them like slaves, the Iron Kingdom would treat them as sacrifices to the Mother Crystal in some very cruel rituals. The current leader of this isolated kingdom is a human called Imran, and we only see him for a small amount of time during the game when the party invades the Iron Kingdom on their quest to destroy the Mother Crystal and come across Imran during one of his rituals. The party, of course, manages to destroy the Mother Crystal, and Jill gets her revenge by killing the Patriarch of the Orthodox herself. What can be easily missed, however, was how much torture and pain he truly put her in during her time in captivity. We actually saw a little bit of this during the beginning of the game when the Iron Kingdom participated in the Battle of Nysa. Jill was forced to fight for the Iron Kingdom as a captive or face death. As the High Priest of the Iron Kingdom, Imran oversaw these rituals, but there are some implications that he would simply go beyond that. Conveniently, the bearers he would sacrifice are girls, and the boys and men would likely just be killed or sold off. And while Jill was not detailed in the extent of Imran's tendencies, just her fear from even talking about it could give us a guess on what he would do to the captured bearers, before sacrificing them anyway. I'm not one to discuss religion in a real-life setting, but I think this practice is not dissimilar to some of the accounts that are done in real life, giving us a connection between the real world and the world of Valisthea, which is why this one hits a little bit closer to home. And honestly, I feel like a lot of the evil that has been committed throughout Valisthea has revolved around religion, with many of Imran's actions based on the practices of the Orthodox faith. Now, of course, after we see these practices being true in real-world settings, the fact that we see it practiced in-game is quite atrocious. It is one thing to imagine these things happening, but to actually see a sample of it up close is even worse. To go even further, there is even some interesting lore behind the Orthodox and its origins, and I could further elaborate on that in a future video. So leave a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so I know you want me to go further in depth in the theme of religion in Final Fantasy XVI, which we can definitely go deeper in. And it's something I'm starting to notice that Square Enix definitely likes to incorporate the theme of religion in some form throughout its games. There have been quite a few Final Fantasy games I can think of right now that does use religion as part of a big story element. So that's why I think Imran is the most evil human in the twins, although one can make an argument that perhaps Annabella could be the most evil, but I think this could be a topic for another lore video. What did you think? Do you believe that Imran is the most evil character in all of Valisthea, despite the lack of screen time that he got? Which, rightfully so. I feared that if we covered more of what Imran did, it might upset a lot of the audience, and justifiably so, considering how much and how cruel he truly was to the bearers in the Iron Kingdom. Let me know in the comment section below, and let me know if you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you did, and let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover in Final Fantasy XVI in the world of Valisthea. Other than that, this is Enzo signing out, and I will see you all soon.